Aaron, is it straight up yet? Okay. We will go ahead and call this meeting to order. Please join me in reciting the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Ted Franklin.
Here.
Ron Miller.
Present.
Chris Armstrong.
Present.
You've had a chance to review the minutes. Is there any discussion?
Hearing none, I'll make a motion that we approve them.
I second. It's been moved and properly seconded to accept the minutes of the February 23rd meeting as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Approval of claims. Claims total this week $324,025.26. You've had a chance to review those. Is there any discussion?
Hearing none, I'd make a motion we approve paying the claims of $324,025.26.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the claims in that amount of money. All in favor of approval of the claims signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any changes to the agenda? Any additions or deletions?
Maxwell Electric.
None? Okay. Approval of licenses, Maxwell Electric. Is that the building commissioner? Approval of license? Okay. Okay. Any discussion on approval of licenses, Maxwell Electric? Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. All in favor signify by saying, all in favor of approval of license for Maxwell Electric signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Old business? No old business? New business, Aaron Shaver, Logansport Safe Routes to School Sidewalk Replacement Project.
This project's been going on for a while. In 2007, we were awarded $250,000 to do sidewalk and crossing improvements and signage in the Franklin School area. We have bid twice, and what has happened on both those bids is that it's gone over. So we sat down with the consultant, well, I sat down with the consultant and tried to cut back our budget. Our budget's now down to $201,701.89, which gives us kind of a cushion, about a little less than $50,000 cushion, in case bids do go higher. These estimates are based off of bids that we have received the last 2 times, so we're hoping that we brought it down enough to move forward. This grant is 100% reimbursement. There's already a kind of a seed fund in the clerk treasurer's office that pays out, and then we get reimbursed from the state. So there's no money, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep it below that 250, so there's no additional appropriations towards this project. With the changes that had to be made, Green 3, which is our consultant, is bringing up a supplemental. They charged us $5,050 to do the changes to the proposal, and so you'll have a supplement that would need to be signed to approve those changes and that work that was done. That supplemental is still out of that $250,000, so that's no fee to you. That's just out of the grant money. And then there is the actual front to the changes that we made, and basically the changes we made is switching it from Duratherm, which is what you see on 4th Street, where they actually lay in the crosswalk and kind of melt it into the asphalt. Instead of doing that, because it's so expensive, we changed it to getting a stencil and being able to do it with paint. So if it came down to it and we couldn't actually have the construction workers do it, we could have the stencils and have street department where we cut some money there, or what have you, or other places in town that you'd like that crosswalk, you'd have it. So those are some of the changes that we made. So there's also a sheet that would need to be signed for those changes that were made. so we can resubmit it to rebid.
Do you have any idea of the time frame of construction?
If you rebid, it usually takes the state 3 months. After that, we should be good, because we had to change stuff in the program.
So this summer?
Yeah.
Before school starts in the fall?
That's what we're shooting for.
And it would be completed by then, do you think?
That's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
At least the sidewalk portion,
Yeah.
you know, we can do the crosswalks and the signage when school is actually in session, but we would hope to do the sidewalk before it would start.
Any questions for Aaron? Okay, and you say this is fully reimbursable?
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. Do you need us to take action on that, or is this just a report?
So, yes, we would need to take action on the supplemental, approving the change of their contract basically from $23,425 to now $28,475. And then we would just need action on the approval to rebid basically, which is signing that front page, that 11 by 17 page.
Oh, okay. And I don't think I have it with me. We actually shrunk it down.
Oh,
That's the reason
okay.
I don't have it, yeah. Okay. Any questions for Aaron? I would make a motion to approve the revisions in the agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the revisions as presented here at the Board of Works meeting today. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Reports. Acting Building Commissioner.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
This week I did 3 commercial inspections and 4 residential. I also have a list that I included with my report of 20 properties that I would like to have the condemnation lifted on. Some of them have been forever and they've been completed and no one ever did anything about lifting the condemnation. And we're trying to get that list cleaned up so we know exactly where we're at with condemned properties. I had 8 permits. 2 of the commercial ones, one was Shoe Sensation at Eastgate. They're remodeling for that store, and then they're also putting a partial roof on Eastgate. So those were my big permits this week. And I had the residential demolition was a garage at Pleasant Hill Greenhouse. It sits on Henry Street. And I had 4 contractor registrations. Do you have any questions?
The homes that you're requesting to be removed from the condemnation list, of all those, do you know if any of them are occupied right now?
I'm not sure. I'm sure some of them are, yes, probably the majority of them. A lot of it was a porch needed to be tore off, or, you know, it had broken windows, or just minor stuff that they declared unsafe. Some of them have actually been raised. There's
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 that have been raised on there.
Okay.
Okay.
Questions for Deb? I would make a motion that we approve the report from the Acting Building Commissioner.
I make a motion.
You second the motion?
Oh, second.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, thanks. It's been moved and properly seconded to accept the Acting Building Commissioner's report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, Code Enforcement Officer. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
Okay, the numbers are down as far as the violation issued from what they normally are each week, and that is because at the request of the mayor, Deb and I went around and physically inspected, well, when I say physically, we didn't get out of the vehicle. We went around all 70-plus homes in the city limits that have been condemned, and that was just to compile an updated list of the homes that are condemned. And as Deb reported, she found several that had been repaired and were now in compliance. That list you have in front of you to lift the condemnation. That list was provided to the mayor. So that took us about a little over 2 days to do, so that explains why my numbers are down. I did issue 3 violations this week. We continued 6 violations. 4 violations were cleared up. Violations for cleanup, that actually should read 4. I've got a request for the city street department to clean up 1329 Spear Street. I have not gotten a response. I drove past there, well, all 4 of these places we drove past yesterday, and there's been no action taken on it. We followed through with the procedure of leaving the door hanger on the door, the initial letter, and then, excuse me, followed up with a certified letter on each one of these properties. The only one that we received in response from was Jeff Murray at 417, 419 13th Street. He was in yesterday and presented me with a letter that said, well, yes, this is my property, it's my rental property. I don't feel it's my responsibility to clean up what the tenants put in the yard. He left the letter lay on my desk and never spoke to me. He just laid it on my desk and turned and walked away. So I'm also requesting, in addition to 1329 Spear Street, that the city clean up 417, 419 13th Street. It's a duplex. Also 3029 Pennsylvania Avenue. I did have one contact with her after I sent out the initial letter. She has since moved. When she called me, she wouldn't leave me a phone number to get a hold of her. She would not leave me a forwarding address. She just told me that she had vacated the property and was attempting to sell it. And that's mostly weeds and overgrowth that's inside the fence area that's actually taller than what the privacy fence is. And the neighbor did complain on that one, is how we came about with that one. And then the other one is 1205 Ash Street, and it's just got a couple small pieces of furniture laying in the backyard. And again, the same there. The lady that the deed at the auditor's office lists as the owner, she responded to the first initial letter, called me and said that she no longer lived in Indiana. She had moved out of state, but she would make an attempt to get the property cleaned up, and that's been over 3 weeks, and there's not been any attempt on that. So I guess I'm asking the board for the approval to authorize the street department to go take care of these. They'll all be fairly simple, except 1329 Spear Street. It's in really bad shape. There's a lot of junk in the backyard, a boat, a camper trailer, a pop-up type camper trailer. The weeds are growing up all around it, quite a bit of junk, rotten lumber, yard debris, some kids' toys. It's very much an eyesore to the neighbors. Pennsylvania Avenue won't be that much, probably an hour or 2 with a weed eater. And Ash Street and 417, 419, 13th Street will be very simple, very easy. That'll be in and out, probably less than 10 minutes on each one.
Would you explain how the city recovers the damages or the cost of the cleanup?
Once that is done, there is the street commissioner brings to me the total man hours that it took them to resolve the problem. He also brings me a estimated cost, and Deb, correct me if I'm wrong on this, he brings me not an estimated cost, but a cost of the equipment that was used, and then there's a $250 fine for, is it $250 or $50 fine? $250 fine for the first offense. The property owner is sent a bill for that, and there's also a tax lien put against the property, so that in the event that the property does ever sell and the property owner has never paid the fine or the cleanup charges, those taxes must be paid to the city before the property can be sold.
Thank you.
Chris, any questions for George? Okay, I'm going to suggest that we approve the property cleanups as one action, and then anything else would be a separate action. So you're requesting 4 property cleanups total?
That's correct.
Okay, and 1205 Ash Street is one that you verbally reported on. It's not in writing here. I would ask for a motion to approve the property cleanups as requested by the acting code enforcement officer.
I make that motion.
I'll second it. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the property cleanups at the 4 addresses listed on the code enforcement report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay.
I'll get with Dan then, and we'll do a drive-by and make sure that we're both on the same page.
Okay.
I did issue 3 notices to appear for the March 8th Board of Works meeting. And as far as abandoned vehicles, I tagged 2 additional vehicles. 4 of the vehicles that I'd previously tagged, the owners have since moved. And after I made this yesterday, we did tow 1 vehicle from a backyard. And I need to get with police chief to find out how he wants to handle that. I know the paperwork, when we had secretaries downstairs, always went to the secretary and she handled it, but I think we need to come up with a new protocol, since we only have a secretary there 1 day a week, to figure out a new way to handle those. That's all I have.
Okay, so you're not towing any vehicles today?
This afternoon, I'm going to go out and inspect, yeah, and I've got 4 on the list that, if they've not been moved by the owner, they'll be towed this afternoon.
Spear Street, 1220?
1222 Spear Street. We are working with the gentleman that owns that. He's been in a couple times. He's attempting to be cooperative with us. He's got an offer on a piece of commercial property that if he's able to buy it, he's going to move everything away from his house to this commercial property. He has moved the tires. He has made some progress, and I told him as long as what we could see weekly progress, we would work with him and give him an opportunity to get this building purchased. The 2 vehicles are still in the backyard, but
Yeah,
the
one
tires...
with no doors on it?
Yeah, the one with no doors on it is still in the backyard, and the red truck is still in the backyard.
Hope to see some progress by next week at the latest.
I hope so, and I will send him a follow-up letter and ask him to appear next week with an update if he would like.
Any more questions for code enforcement? No. Okay, I would entertain a motion to accept code enforcement officer's report in whole.
Motion to approve this report.
And I'll second. It's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor of accepting the report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Police Chief Neer. Good morning.
Morning. Just want to give everybody an update on our hiring process. Our secretary, Anna, she's handed out several pre-apps. We've only had 4 of them returned completed. All that's going to expire on the 5th, which we may extend for a few more days. Maybe give the guys a little more time, maybe doctor's appointments for the physical agility and everything. But that's where we're at on that.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions on anything else?
You had 4 returned. Do you know how many you sent out?
No, I don't.
You have an
And
approximate number?
I want to say maybe a dozen more that haven't been turned in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about 16 total that's went out,
Yeah.
4 have come back.
Only 4 have been completed.
Okay. And they have until March 5th.
Yeah, and we may extend that later on in the week. Give them a little more time.
Okay. Anything else?
Did you have any questions on the forensic examinations or anything like that?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You're just requesting a change in one of your department rules.
Right.
Any questions for the chief or assistant chief regarding anything? Okay. We're going to need to take action on the request for the change in the SOPs. So I would make a motion that we accept the change as requested by the Chief Neer and Assistant Chief Clark regarding the
Rule 137.
Rule 137.
Second.
Okay. So it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor to accept signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Fire Chief.
Good morning.
I'll come back to you, Dan. I'm all over the board today. Yeah. Okay. What do you got for us, Mark? Anything?
Just like to mention that, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but we got safe haven signs up at the fire station now. And the safe haven law in Indiana is where you could, a parent, maybe, a young parent or somebody that can't take care of a child, can come and give it to a fireman, hand-delivered at the fire station with no questions asked. Could also be emergency room or police department. But we have been trained now and had somebody come over and teach each shift what to do and everything. Baby's got to be less than 45 days old and have no signs of being, abused or anything like that, but they can leave it there with no questions asked. Any questions on that?
Thank you for that.
Okay, and also just like to mention is, he brought up hiring. The Logansport Fire Department's always accepting applications, and we are in the process right now of, we're a little bit short, so we're been looking at applications and planning on hiring somebody in the near future, so working on that.
Were you able to get that on the city's website?
Yes.
Okay.
We did. We've updated the city website, got the roster updated. We also got on there that we're accepting applications and some of the qualifications that you have to have. There's certain state qualifications that you have to have, and then some that we prefer, people to be somewhat trained before we hire them. We've been real successful at doing that.
Questions for the chief?
It is a dumb question, but when dispatches emergency medical people from the hospital right now, do you guys usually make that run as well?
It just depends. It just depends on the nature of the call. Actually, if it's life-threatening, or if another ambulance is busy, or it's up to the paramedic. So it's not necessarily. We used to at one time. We went on every single call, no matter if it was a stub toe or anything like that. At the present time, we do not. It's just when we're dispatched.
In light of proposed county changes for the ambulance service, have you reviewed, or is there any or are you looking at making any changes, or are you going to continue doing what you're doing? Or
we were in the process of looking at, we want to be dispatched on all life-threatening calls. Anything that's life-threatening, we want to be dispatched on. And of course, I told you last week, we're in the process of, seeking to see if it'd be, a good thing for the city to have an ambulance service right out of the fire station run by the fire department. With a new private company coming in that's private, I don't know, we're going to have to work something out. I just want to make sure that we're not going to be abused by them. If they have short on ambulances all the time and my crews are out on a call, once we get there, we're stuck there. And if we have a fire or some other calls, I just want to make sure this new private company that's making money is not going to be abusing our department all the time. But we're always willing to go on any life-threatening call. Thank you.
Just to clarify, you do respond, though, every time you're dispatched?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
But it's up to the discretion. Right now, they have to be meet a certain criteria before they dispatch us, so that's something they have an agreement with the hospital on that. But any paramedic can once they get called, can dispatch us at any time they want. It's up to their discretion.
Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve the fire chief's report.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. All in favor of approving the fire chief's report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, and thanks, Mark. Lastly, Mr. Williams.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have submitted my report for your review and hopefully your approval, and take time and go through it. As you can see, we're very busy with the nice weather. It's really helped us out, and we haven't had the snow, so we're able to do things that previous years we haven't been able to do. A little comment, we had a private citizen call on some graffiti on one of our bridges and offered to donate his labor, and we're going to mail him a nice letter. He has done a fantastic job. He did it. It's complete. Saved approximately 6 man-hours from the street department. So we're gonna tackle the graffiti thing.
So the city supplied the materials and
We
the
supplied the
citizens did
paint,
the work?
paint only, he used his own rollers, and he did a great job. It's all squared off and probably ready for more graffiti, but hopefully not.
How's your budget for snow removal?
Looking very good, sir, very good.
Plenty of inventory?
The only thing is, when you contract for salt, you have to guarantee them that you're gonna use so much. So, and I'm not, I think we'll still get some
So the
snow.
bins are still pretty full?
We're on top of it, yes, sir.
As far as the paint goes, I'm wondering, do you keep paint in stock, like for the graffiti incident, to
No, sir.
different colors, or
No, we've been using black,
using black?
yes, sir. And we did attempt to, someone brought up the idea of sandblasting it because it's on concrete, and we tried that, and when you sandblast it, you can still read where you,
Yeah,
so it didn't work.
And
the
besides
paint
that,
has-
it's not
paint
really
has
our
worked
property.
great. Yes.
yeah. Okay, cemetery? Any questions for the superintendent? Okay. Entertain a motion to accept his report.
Motion to approve this report?
I'll second.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moved and properly seconded to accept the superintendent of public works report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay, board member comments? No? Visitor comments? All right, motion to adjourn.